it's too easy. Oh no, but it's the coach's fault because he told me to do this and I did exactly what he told me. Yes, but the game brought you into another way, into another path. You need to be smart enough, intelligent enough, courageous enough to understand that and do it.
On a chilly Sunday afternoon at Stadio Giuseppe Signaglia, overlooking Lake Como, we were in the company of one of the most successful midfielders of his generation. He's now 33, and through the help of the PFA, preparing for what follows after an extraordinary playing career: management. In this conversation, he provides a cunning insight into his football mind. We discuss what constitutes a win, players' lack of freedom in the modern game, and if we ever see a new Fabregas. The different impacts managers had, how he would have benefited having someone like Wenger later on in his career, and what next for Cesc Fàbregas. Cesc, I remember when you were about 17 years old and you scored against Rosenborg. I'm from Norway. You were then the youngest goal scorer in the Champions League at the time. What factors do you think were involved at the time at Arsenal to contribute to you becoming the player you were at the time? And also have to say you became PFA Young Player a few seasons after. But what factors do you think were involved to you developing so well?
There were many factors, obviously, but the main one and the bigger one was Arsène Wenger. It has a name and a surname. Arsène Wenger is definitely the main reason why my career started so early and in such a positive way. Obviously, I worked really hard. I was very positive and I really believed that I could do it. But, it's not easy, to give debut or chances to such a young kids, because we are still kids at that time, when you're 16, 17, and sometimes you don't play as well as maybe the coach would like to, but he still keeps bringing you on and putting you and trusting you, teaching you, and that just gives you positive vibes, confidence in what you're doing, belief, and I just think that it was the best thing that could have happened to me in this way.
I came across an anecdote from Wenger where he said, beyond just the trophies and the achievements, what really stayed with him was the human things, the 5 minutes where you played the perfect game. I guess that goes along what constitutes a win. Is it about the 3 points? Is it about playing the perfect game? You could now soon heading into management. How do you see that?
Yeah, that's a good question, because there's no right or wrong answer, because everyone have their beliefs. Everyone sees football or life in a different way. For some coaches, for some directors, for some owners, it's all about winning, no matter how or what you do to achieve that. For some others, like you said, I always felt that Arsène is super competitive and he was such a winner, but the pleasure that I could see in his eyes every time we were playing a beautiful game, the beautiful way, the way he wanted, combinations, playing forward, counter-attacking, defending well. When you played the perfect game, you could see in his eyes full of joy. So I think he was a bit of a romantic as well of the game being played in the right way. And here again, the same question: what is the right way? There's many ways that any different coach in the world will tell you, oh, that's my way, so for me this is the right way. And then completely another way from another coach will tell you the same thing. So it's just about believing in what you're doing, have a setup, have confidence and trust on the people that you are working with, and just from there try to stay together, unit, and grow from there.
You've obviously worked under some of the best managers, but also managers that are different in their approaches. I'm thinking you have Aragonés, Del Bosque. We also have Wenger, a Mourinho, a Conte. What sort of impact did they have on how you see the game? And did that change over the course of a career? You started with Wenger and then you have a Mourinho and a Conte.
Yeah, I think I was very lucky that the very start of my career was with Arsène Wenger. He believed in young players. He trusted young players. He gave chances over and over again to young players if he really believed in them. And he was playing the way that I liked and I grew up, So everything together, he made it the best manager for me, especially at that time. And then, of course, going with Aragonés, with Del Bosque and Guardiola, I think these four were a little bit same philosophy. So that's why I think the start of my career, I think the first 10 years of my career were super amazing, because I felt completely comfortable on what I was doing, because this was my game, my football. Then with Mourinho at Chelsea, I believe it was a bit the same, especially the first year and a half before he left. We played some great football, some fantastic stuff, but I already felt that something was changing in a way. It was a different type of football that I really enjoyed, and we won many things. That's why I was telling you before that, it doesn't matter what you believe in. The most important is try to do what you believe in the right way, but knowing that someone else playing the other type of football that you play, they can still beat you if you don't do things right. So, and then after that, obviously, since from when I was 29. I think from Conte days, I already felt that football started to change. And for the last 6, 7 years, I've had a lot of coaches. Obviously, at Chelsea, I had another one in Sarri. And then going to Monaco, I've had Niko Kovac and Robert Moreno and Thierry Henry and on and on and on. And so I've experienced another type of football, a very pragmatic football, a very how can I say it? It's all regarding GPS and physical stats, and you run faster.
Do you like it? Do you welcome it?
Well, it's the training methodology changed a lot as well. The trainings nowadays is nothing compared like before. Before it was very technical, tactical. Now it's physical first, and then tactical and technical. Tactical more, and then technical the last little bit, because all the coaches, they tell you exactly how they want to play, what you want, what they want you to do, how you have to do it, when you have to do it. There is 5 substitutions, so it's very easily that you will get substituted in a game, 50% chance. So everything is changing slowly, and the freedom that I had in the first 12, 13 years of my career compared to what I had the last 6, 7 years, it's like day and night. That's why maybe, if I had, again, someone like Arsène Wenger or Guardiola, maybe at the age of 28, 29, when after Mourinho left Chelsea, I think my career would have kept going the same way. But having that contrast, I still adapted, but obviously physicality is not my biggest strength. Once you lose a little bit of that in today's football, it's more difficult to have an impact, yeah.
I know you're a believer in, and excuse my pronunciation, but juego de posición, yeah? in terms of creating kind of the framework for allowing players to thrive. Where does that fit into potentially how you would transfer your football knowledge onto a team when you become a manager?
Well, as I said today, it's different to before. We mentioned that before, but I think el juego de posición, as you well mentioned, sometimes we make a mistake thinking that juego de posición means that you have to be always on the space that they tell you. But football is so complex. Football takes you into so many different aspects in a game, into so many different situations, that if you tell a player all the time when they do these squares in training, oh, this is your zone, this is where you have to move. Football is not like that. Sometimes the game will demand that you go a little bit more into the right, into the left, defensively and offensively. And I think sometimes we're just making players so robotic, just looking at one way when there is so many other things happening in the game. Now it's like sometimes I feel I could play right back.
Okay.
Because everything is so robotic in a way, so studied, so pre-done in the training sessions of what this guy have to do, that you see it as a midfielder because you see it every day, and you're like, I can do that job, because it's okay. You get the ball here, you need to do that, you need to do that. It's not like before where you had a little bit more of creativity. You could feel, you could smell, you could sense the next step. You could smell the play You could smell if the other team was,
Can we
slowing
get back?
down.
Do you think we can get back to that?
Not for now. We have to try. I mean, I will certainly try, because I'm a believer, a big believer, that football is changing and you need to adapt to every situation, and you need to adapt to what's happening now.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot get away from this, and you cannot underestimate the power of every single coach that's been studying for many years.
Yeah.
But nowadays, sometimes it's more important the fitness coach than the coach. This is what I see from other clubs, from other teams, and I don't think that this is right. The coach has to be always the main guy in terms of analyzing how you want to play, what you want to do, but always understanding that the player is always the most important in a team.
Mm-hmm.
The leader, the coach, the boss, for sure, it's him, number one. But the players are the ones who make the good thing or the bad things happen,
And an extension of the coach.
Yeah, correct. We are an extension, but we are the ones that are inside the pitch. And as sometimes I'm on the bench and I see certain situations from a coach that I've had in the past, and you don't see or you don't feel from outside, even if you're a great coach, sometimes what the players are feeling inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you are winning 1-0, for example, and you are playing a 4-4-2, let's say, or 4-3-3, and you change a midfielder or a striker and you put a defender in the last 10-15 minutes, and you're playing with a back five all of a sudden, because you saw from outside that they are playing with really high fullbacks, or whatever reason, you are doing it for a reason from the outside. But inside, the players, you see that he's taken a striker off, he's put a defensive player on.
Yeah.
So automatically, your mindset is, the coach wants us to defend. We have to sit back. And you attract pressure, and you invite them to have the ball more, and you invite them to attack you more and to be more dangerous. And the more they are on your pitch, one day it can happen that you can kill them on counter-attack and score the second goal. But 80-90% of the time, it backfires, because you invite pressure and there's a penalty, there's a little free kick or a cross, rebound. And this is the things that sometimes I feel that the coach have had this growth into the game that is making the players a little bit insecure on the pitch.
I guess it's all relative as well, because you've been part of teams and succeeded under a lot of different tactics, a lot of different approaches. And we go back to the false nine era where you played and people claimed it was a 4-6-0, but it also could be something else, a 4-3-3, what have you. Do you think the best coaches, contrary to popular opinion that they have a set philosophy, actually are just very good to evolve and adapt?
The coaches?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a must. Every coach needs to evolve, every coach needs to grow, and every coach takes ideas from each other. Mm-hmm. They all take ideas from each other. That's why you see many coaches going to visit other training grounds and studying every time more and more and more. But I still believe that the players, for what I see now in World Cups, in Euros, and you kind of don't, football is so equal now, because everyone studies each other. Everyone plays this football that I'm talking about. Most of the games are 1-1, 2-2, 0-0. Mm-hmm. How many extra times do we see? How many penalty shootouts do we see? Because everything is like this. And sometimes when you have to do that little extra step of creativity and to be a little bit more positive, and we kind of struggle. No, what I see is that the players struggle because they are so used to, the coach told me to do this. Mm-hmm. And that when everything goes in a different way, or you have to actually take advantage of a situation and be positive and do something that the coach didn't tell you, because it can happen. Yeah. And then we don't know how to approach that situation. That's why I believe always in certain creativity, in certain freedom that the player should have.
Will we have then less cases of a new Fabregas in a way because of the mechanic structure? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying a new Fabregas or not. I don't like really to talk about me in this case, but yes, the answer to your question is yes, because nowadays, since they are young, 2 touches and this and tactical, you have to be here, you have to be there, which is great, but you have to give the player the belief that he's intelligent enough to understand where the game is going. Because whatever you're doing in training, when you're doing against your teammates or you're doing it against nobody, because sometimes you do 11 against 0, and when you do 11 against 0, it's like very simple and everyone sees the pass and it's all right for some time. But when you're playing against a team that changes tactic in the middle of the game, what do? Oh my God, but me, I trained like this and the coach told me to do this. How do we react to that? That's why Wenger was really good, for example, at this. Guardiola was very good at this. Mourinho was very good at this. Del Bosque as well was very good at this. This type of coaches that they always gave you that responsibility, that extra trust that you should have as a football player. Because now it's too easy. Oh no, but it's the coach fault. Right. Because he told me to do this and I did exactly what he told me. Yes, but the game brought you into another way, into another path. You need to be smart enough, intelligent enough, courageous enough to understand that and do it and go and do it. Yeah, but the coach will be upset with him. And maybe he's right. Because the coach can go on and show the video the next morning. Oh, look, I told you to do this and you didn't do it, and that's why the other team scored the goal. So this is sometimes the mentality of the player nowadays, Too much listening to the coach sometimes can create many doubts and take away many things from your game.
Will there be a difference between you as a player and you as a manager in terms of how you lead?
Well, that's a good question. I will have to get into the situation first, but I believe not a lot, because I'm a very positive guy and I really want to give confidence to my players. This will always be, we have to create a unity, we have to create a belief without each other. I like to talk, I like to communicate, I like to have feedback, because the same way that I don't like it when a coach tells me you have to do this and that and this, and then in the game I do something else because I felt that it's supposed to be like that. I think I have the experience enough to understand the game from my point of view when I'm on the pitch. And if he gets upset, you are not giving this belief to the player. You're kind of reducing, a little bit his beliefs, and and trust what he will do on the pitch. But I like communication, I like trust, and I like especially the football that I believe in, which is the modern football in a way, but always giving the player the alternative to do what they feel to do, not always what I am telling them. I just need to focus on giving them the right solutions, what I feel where they are weak, where we can explode some certain situations. But after that, especially in the final third, this is them that they need to create their own game, because if you keep telling everybody, my experience is that every time they gave me freedom and to analyze the game from my point of view when I'm on the pitch, I have always been a better player. Now, every time they have told me exactly what I need to do and exactly what you need to be in training to do it after on the pitch and not go away from this, I have always limited my attributes. So it's a little bit of balance.
And in 5 years, where do you hope to see yourself?
Well, in 5 years, I hope I will be a coach. I still have a lot to improve, a lot to to learn. I want to finish my career now in the best way possible. But yeah, in 5 years, I see myself as a coach. I don't know. Hopefully, with Como in Serie A, I already said it in an interview. I have respect for the coach that we have now, Moreno Longo. Obviously, I hope he does well, because if he does well, I do well, and the club does well. This is priority for me. But yeah, in 5 years, hopefully we can see Como in Serie A, and be part of it would be fantastic.
Appreciate it, Cesc.
No problem.
Thanks
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.